Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day. So I tried making a video about making sugar cookies and how to ice them. I tried making that video with my little brother. He wanted to help me and I got really bad footage and I'm having a hard time like editing that video. I'm gonna try again and try working on it and maybe I can get that out in the future. I might have to just completely redo it. Anyways, I wanted to come up and make a new video. I have enough stuff here to make lemon meringue pie, so that's what we're gonna do today. I'll show you guys how to make a single pie crust. We're gonna bake it, and then we're going to fill it with some lemon curd and make a meringue and toast that in the oven today. Yeah, sorry about the sugar cookies, but I hope you guys like lemon meringue pie. Alright guys, my furnace just kicked on so you might hear it. But I got 1¼ cups of flour here. I got a whole stick of butter that I cut up and I put it back in the fridge for a few minutes. And then I got a tablespoon of sugar that I'm going to add in here. I got my ice water ready because I'm going to need a couple tablespoons of water later on. So I just got sugar and flour in there. You can give that mix up a little bit. And it'll get some flour on your blades. Try not to touch the butter too much because I don't want to get it warm. But I'm just going to cut this up with my pastry blender. Alright, so I got it's balling up a little bit. I got some pea-sized pieces. Some of them are a little bit bigger, but that's alright. Then I'm going to add a tablespoon at a time of water. Kind of mix that up. If you don't have one of these blenders, you can just use a fork. And honestly, I might switch to that as I add more water. You don't want to add too much water because then you're going to have a really rough pastry dough or pie dough. And you only want to mix this up until you got like a shaggy dough. I think I want to add 1 more tablespoon of water. Alright, it kind of feels to me like if I were to press this together, it would start to form, and that's where you want it at. So you can start to press it in the bowl a little bit with your fist, and that'll start to kind of form everything together. And I roll it over and do the same thing. can really see that it's like flaky when I'm pushing it around still. That's what you want, because if it looks like cookie dough, it's going to end up really tough. So it takes a little bit of time to form together, but that's okay. Your hard work will pay off. And I just kind of fold it in on itself in the bowl. And then when you feel like it's ready to be taken out of the bowl, you can switch to the countertop. So I got some crumbly bits still. I'm gonna push it all together. So if you notice it starting to stick to your hand a little bit, we should pop it back in the fridge for a little bit. So just get a rough disc made. It needs a little bit cracked, but that's okay. I'm gonna go get some Saran wrap. Nice and airtight. You can kind of push it around on itself too. Then it can't really fall apart because it's stuck. All right, I'm gonna pop this in the fridge. All right, so we're gonna roll out our pie dough. It's quite firm now. It's been in the fridge for probably a half hour now. I was getting some other ingredients together and doing some dishes, so it sat there in a minute while I cleaned up. All right. Just gonna take some flour out. You don't want to work too much more flour into there, but I always put not enough, so I regret it. I'm just going to gently start rolling them out. Yep, I spoke too soon. She's starting to stick to the table. I got a bench scraper. So I'm going to continue rolling it out anyways. I already know I'm screwed. Just make sure it's roughly a little over the bottom of your pie dish. And if it's a little bit uneven, you can use those extra pieces to plug in where the cracks are. So I'm just working over the edges a little bit, just kind of scraping in there. Not really forcing it too bad, because I don't want to tear my crust any more than it's already cracking. I'll never be able to do that again in a million years. Just pick him up. All right. So we're gonna position him in there. Kind of see how, I don't get rid of him, how thin he is. And it cracked a little bit. He's kind of uneven. So we're gonna get him all pressed into the corners all nice, so the bottom's all even. And then we'll worry about making the edges all pretty again. All right, so this is what the crust looks like. I just kind of have a boring flat edge to it. It's gonna taste great. I'm gonna take my fork and poke some holes in the bottom. So hopefully this will prevent it from bubbling up and rising on me. And then if you want, you can take a piece of tin foil. And I place this all along the bottom. And then wrap it around the edges of my pan. This will prevent the crust from browning too much too. So if you don't have pie weights, you can just use this tin foil method and some rice. And you can save this rice and just put it like in a little jar and label it pie weights, and you can just continue to reuse this until it gets too burnt up. So we're gonna pop this in the oven for about 30 minutes. All right, guys, so we are going to be making the lemon curd. So we're going to start by mixing 2 cups of sugar, cornstarch, 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I got the Zest of 2 Lemons, and the juice of 2 lemons, and 3/4 of a cup of water. I'm gonna get this all good and stirred up. I'm gonna kick it on some medium heat. I'm gonna cook this down until it starts boiling up. You can just see the lemon zest run into the top. It almost looks like butter, but it's butter and milk. But like, it's not very thick right now. It's just kind of cloudy. I got 1 whole cup of cut up butter, and I got my egg yolks. I got a whole dozen egg yolks there. And I'm just gonna kind of lightly beat them. Do these in advance just so you have them ready, but not too far in advance because they'll start to dry out on you. All right, I took out my rice. I'm gonna put this in for a little bit longer. Probably just about 5 more minutes for my pie crust. All right, so we got our sugar, lemon juice, lemon zest, and cornstarch mixture coming to a boil. It's just starting to boil on me. We're gonna keep on stirring this now. I cut away because a watch pot never boils. So we want to get this nice and thick. Right now it's still pretty runny, but it's starting to foam up on me a little bit. Nothing crazy, but I can definitely see foam starting to come to the top. So now it's bubbly. Now I'm gonna try to bring my eggs into this mixture. So I'm gonna take my whisk, take a little bit of it, pour a little bit in at a time, just stirring constantly. And once I get to the halfway mark, I'm just trying to bring this to a temperature so I don't end up getting scrambled eggs. Now that I got it pretty warm, we're going to continue stirring. Don't stop stirring until you got everything mixed together. Whoops. All right, now I'm going to let this boil for about 2 minutes once it comes back to a boil. All right, close enough for me, girl. All right, now I'm gonna add my 2 sticks of cut up butter. Take it off the heat. Put it back on. We're just gonna melt this up. And I do have my heat still on. All right. It's all melted in there. Now, if you like, you can take this and you can strain it through here with a metal strainer. It looks really good. It's nice and thick. Oops. Sure you got her on there nice and sturdy. And straining it like this ensures it'll be nice and smooth. All right, guys, there you have it. This beautiful lemon curd. I got it all strained out. Looks really good. So now I'm going to transfer this into my little tubs. I have a lot of dirty dishes. I have these little ball containers, or you can use any air-sealed or airtight container. And I'm going to use a couple of these to put it in. It makes about 4 cups. So you can use half of this for the lemon meringue pie that we're going to use, and then you can freeze the rest, and you can use this for anything. You can make long johns with lemon, or some kind of donuts, or you can make another lemon meringue pie in the future. So I'm going to put this stuff in the fridge because I plan on using it right away. So I'm going to let it cool, and then I'll be right back with how to make a meringue after we are able to fill our cooling pie crust. Oh my gosh, I did not start my video. All right, so what I have in here are about 6 egg whites, 3/4 cups of granulated sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And I got it double boiling in my metal bowl so it won't break on me. And I'm trying to bring this up to 165 degrees. I just realized that I was not recording any of this, but you guys didn't miss out on much. I've been sitting here probably for about 15 minutes now, waiting for it to slowly get up to 165. Now I have a little foot on the bottom of this bowl that like attaches to my KitchenAid here. So it's a really thick metal piece. So I'm gonna keep in mind that it's gonna continue to cook even after I take it off the heat, because that little foot is gonna retain a bunch of heat. So I'm probably gonna get it up to 150, 155 degrees. Or we might be there. I'm not touching the bottom of the bowl with this. Okay, so it's at 156. We're pretty close. So if I give her another 30 seconds or so, it'll be pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna call it close enough. If you guys wanna wait until you have 165 degrees for sure, you are more than welcome to. I like to live life on the edge. So I'm gonna let that whisk. Gonna add about a teaspoon of vanilla. I just kind of eyeball a teaspoon real quick. And then I'm gonna let this beat until stiff peaks form, and I'll be right back when that happens. So this has been going for about 10 minutes, and it's starting to thicken up. It's still a little bit too runny. We don't have those stiff peaks forming quite yet, but you can go too far on this step. I was gonna try to switch my camera over, but it's not letting me. We'll be back in just a few more minutes and I'll show you the stiff peaks. All right, so to tell if you have stiff peaks, they will not move and he will stand in place. All right, so in the meantime, I took my meringue or my lemon curd out of those little containers. I wasn't gonna use all of that, but I ended up using all of it. And now a little bit of this is gonna come right off. But that's what you want. You don't want it to gel up on you and it's gonna get like super firm. And I got my broiler going in my oven. I'm going to try to broil the top of this to get it browned. But you're gonna wanna scoop this off and try to get everything in the center the best you can. Now this is a lot of meringue. So I'm just gonna kind of squish them down. You're gonna wanna try to get all the edges of the pie the best you can. Because you don't want any of that lemon curd exposed. And then once you kind of get it all around the edge, you can make some tufts. Try to make them pretty. So if you get some peaks on there, he'll brown up right on the tops. Okay, just like that. All right, and I've had my oven with the broiler, the top broiler. That's where my broiler is right on the top of my oven. I've had it running for about 10-15 minutes. I cook a lot of food in my oven, and sometimes food will splatter in there, just like in your microwave. So I let it run for a while, just so it'll be warm for sure. And I want to burn like any dust or something like that, because I don't really use my broiler that often, and I don't want anything to fall and get this all dusty. You can always use a torch too and just kind of torch the top of it. You're not really cooking this because we already got it to 165 degrees. Make sure that your dish isn't ice cold either. I've had this out for a little bit now, so he's at room temperature. You don't want to break your nice ceramic dishes. They're expensive. All right, so I got my oven rack almost all the way to the top. And it's only gonna take about a minute. All right, so this literally took not even a minute in my broiler, and he was starting to toast right up there, sis. So I got him a little bit too overdone, but he is really browned and quite pretty. All right, you guys, so I got him out of the oven. He's toasted. I'm going to put him in the fridge for about like the next 4 to 5 hours at least, but personally, I'm putting mine in overnight. So in the morning, or whenever I decide to wake up, I will have this out for you, and I will show you the final product after I cut it. Thank you guys for watching. Again, so sorry about not making sugar cookies. I will soon in the future. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning.